The last three problems were assigned as in-class practice. Now let's check your answers.
So our first problem, I see that I have two different transformations. The first transformation that I see is on the inside, and on the inside I see a -4. If it's on the inside and a minus, that means that we're going to be moving to the right 4. So this blue transformation is this blue description. The other one that I see is on the outside. I see a multiplied by -1. And outside multiplied by -1 is to reflect across the x-axis. So this green transformation matches this green description. Now the left, right, up, down are the ones that change the vertex. So my vertex used to be right here. It is now just going to the right 4. So if I go to the right 4, my vertex is now right here. So my vertex is at the coordinate point 40. Now I reflected. This changes our movement. It tells me how to go and where to go. So first, if it was the parent function always goes over 1, up 1. I am no longer the parent function. I have transformations applied. I have to reflect across. If I'm reflecting across the x-axis, this is the x-axis. That means I am no longer pointing up, I am now pointing down. So my reflection is not over 1, up 1, it is now over 1, down 1. So I'll be going over 1, down 1. Those are the only two transformations. So here I am going over 1, down 1 every time, all the way through the graph paper. And it's supposed to be a V. I know it's supposed to be a V because I see that it's absolute value signs. It's an absolute value parent function, which means my over 1, down 1 needs to go all the way through the other side as well. Connect all of your lines. The last thing that we need to do is that we need to go over the domain and we need to go over the range. Domain is how far to the left, always, because there's an arrow, and how far to the right, always, because there's an arrow. So my domain is all real numbers. My range is what I've been using my orange colored pencil with. So I see that it never passes this line, this Y line. Range is always with Y's. So we're always going to start with our Y. And it crosses right here, the Y at 0. So it's always in relation to this Y0 line. It's always below. So since it's always below, I'm a less than or equal to. And so this is my graph, these are my domain and my range. Your second practice problem, because I see absolute value signs, I know that I need to be the shape of a V. It's an absolute value parent function. I see two transformations. I see inside that I have a -2, and on the outside I see that I have a -4. I want to describe these to make sure that we have them. So the inside minus would tell me that I would be going to the right 2. The outside minus tells me that I am going to be going down 4. So this blue -2 on the inside told me to go right 2. And this green -4 on the outside told me to go down 4. So up, down, left, and right, these all change my vertex. So my vertex is in a different location now. Used to be here. I had to go to the right 2 and I had to go down 4. So my vertex is now right here at the coordinate point 2, -4. Those were the only two transformations. There is no vertical adjustment and there is no reflection, which meant my movement is still over 1, up 1, just like the parent. So I'm going to go over 1, up 1 on both sides because it needs to be symmetrical. Here is my connected V. And now I just need to look at my domain and my range. Domain is my x's. I go forever to the right and forever to the left, so it's all real numbers. My range was the orange line that I was paying attention to. It never crosses this point right here. And range is always my y's. That y value is a -4. Now where does the V live? He lives always above, so above is always greater than. The very last practice problem you were asked to do. I see two transformations. On the inside I see a +5, and on the outside I see a multiplied by 3. So I'm going to write those two. Inside adding tells me that I go to the left 5. Outside multiplying tells me I'm vertical something. Because it's larger than 1, it's going to be a stretch. So that means I am stretching by 3. Vertical stretch tells me that I am changing my movement. So what was the movement for the parent? The parent movement is up 1 over 1. I am vertically stretching, which means I need to multiply my vertical by 3. So the over stays as 1 because that's not vertical. 1 times 3 is 3. The vertical is the up. It's the only one that changes. So I used to be here for my vertex. The left 5 came from the blue transformation. So I need to go to the left 5, and there was no up and down, so that's my vertex right there. So my vertex is at the coordinate point 5, 0. My movement is over 1, up 3, because I was multiplying my vertical changes by 3. And then you have to do it to the other side, and remember, because it was an absolute value, it's going to be the shape of a V. Absolute value signs tell you that it's a V shape. So I'm going to connect it. And now we have to find our domain, and we have to find our range. Domain is my x's. I go forever to the right and forever to the left, so it is all real numbers. My range is the orange line I've been drawing. Doesn't go any further than this point. It has to look at the y values, so there's my y. That line that I drew draws across the y at 0, so I'm connecting to the 0. So the y is in relation to the 0. My v is always above, so I'm always greater than or equal to. And that was the last of the 3 practice problems you were assigned.